Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about this air purifier by a company called Cleantech. For those of you who follow the channel, you know that I recently moved across the country in my Tesla, and here I bought a house. So if you are curious as to why maybe some of the technology that I'm looking at is also going to now include some more home stuff, that's why, because I've got the space for it now. So the company that produces this air purifier, they say it's a medical grade air purifier, and the reason they say that is because it uses a combination of a HEPA filter, which is pretty standard, but then also UV air purification. So it's got UV light and it's got this reflective chamber in the middle where it is theoretically sterilizing any bacteria or particulates that pass through the chamber. I want to be pretty upfront about this. I don't actually have the tools to test the claims of the company, right? I can't test the sterilization qualities or even the particulate reduction in the air because I just don't have the specialized tools needed for something like that. So what I can comment on is sort of the general interaction that we have with the product, like just turning it on and off, maybe replacing the filter, and then also, does the air seem cleaner to me, my untrained nose? Opening up the base to get to the HEPA filter, which they recommend that you change about every 6 months, you can actually see a lot of the yellowing that's happening on the plastic, which is an effect of the UV light constantly being shown on it. So you can see that I've actually used this device for quite a bit now. So you can actually really visually see that yellowing on the plastic. While not especially difficult to get to the HEPA filter, this was a little bit more difficult than the IKEA air purifier that I'm going to compare this to in a little bit. Also, when moving this around, I've actually noticed that there's something loose in it, like a rattle. And I don't know if this is a manufacturing defect the way it's supposed to be, or just something that happened in my model. Operating the air purifier is super simple. There are only 2 modes you can do, so all you have to do is plug it in and then hit the button. The button is not capacitive, it's actually a pressure button, like it clicks in, and so I thought it was capacitive for a while and didn't know how to turn it on, but there you go. And when you press it on, there are 2 different settings. 2 hours, it'll run for 2 hours at max speed, and then the 24-hour, or just like constantly on, where it'll run at a much quieter speed. Honestly, I think both are kind of loud. I typically am in a small office room and I'm taking a lot of voice calls, video calls throughout the day, and so I avoid having it on. But in a larger room like a living room or a kitchen, and if you're not doing audio sensitive work, you'll be perfectly fine with a 24-hour setting. For comparison, I actually have 2 of these IKEA air purifiers around my house. One, I have pets and the cage that they are in gets kind of smelly without it. And I have a second one in the bedroom because who wants dirty air where you sleep? I like the way that the IKEA air purifier looks a lot more. It just has a more modern, kind of interesting look to it, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that this Cleantech one has, so the air is theoretically not as clean. Although you can see here that this front panel even has dust just like caked on the front that I've got to clean off. One big negative thing about the Cleantech air purifier is that I can't actually use it in the bedroom at night because of the UV light. Where it glows underneath when all of the lights are off, that actually gets kind of bright. Like it is a notable light source in a room that would otherwise be pitch black. So for the bedroom, I actually have to stick with the less high-tech air purifier from IKEA unless I run it only during the day and then turn it off during the nighttime. But what I will say is that most air purifiers that I've used that don't have some sort of UV light, after a few days, especially in a smaller room, you definitely notice that the air feels better. Like you walk into the room and it's like, ooh, you know, everything feels good, everything feels clean. But then that smell, that like freshness tends to go away after a few days. Whereas this UV air purifier, when I have it running in my office for very long periods of time, like weeks and weeks, I walk into the office, I'm like, man, the air still feels fresh. And, you know, once again, I don't have the tools to support my hypothesis or just even how I feel, but it does feel like the rooms are noticeably and consistently cleaner when I have this thing on. At $240, it is pretty expensive for what you're getting, but if you are in a situation, maybe you're in an older apartment like I was living in previously and the air is really terrible, you know, it might be worth it. So thank you very much to Cleantech for sending this out for me to check out. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Have you used UV light air purifiers before? And if you're knowledgeable in the space, do they make a significant difference in terms of the quantity and even types of particulates in the air? Let me know. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.